Welcome back, family. It is Kyle King here again, your course instructor for Classroom to Boardroom. We have made it. We have made it to class in course 9. And what we're going to talk about today is 5 steps, or really just a few steps, maybe be 5, maybe be more, on better budgeting practices. Really being able to get you financially lit in this year, in this time, in this season, so that you can start making better economic decisions, so you can start aligning everything with your business goals, with your future, and so you can be more successful. Because I think that a lot of times, what I've started to see is that a lot of people base their lives, which I don't agree with, but it's the reality. A lot of people base their lives on their finances, to be honest. You have to think about the importance that finances have on our lives. Really. You have to think about the clothes that we want to wear, the house that we want to be able to live in, even the districts that we can send our children to based upon the zip code and based upon the house that we can afford to live in, the vacations that we either choose to go on, that we are able to go on, or the vacations where we can't go on because we don't have the finances. The car maybe that we want to drive versus the car that we have to drive. So if we think about it, it's really kind of a have to versus want to. And I think this is it's so disheartening when someone has to drive a Kia where they really want to drive a Mercedes-Benz. It's so challenging that someone wants to send their student to the best charter school in the state, or the best that nice private school will give their student all of the necessary educational advancement and technology and all these different things, but they can't because they have to stay in the district, or they really just can't afford it, or they have to send their student to a public school. It's challenging when we want to go to a certain doctor's office to be able to get care, but we have to go to the doctor's office that we can afford. I think that finances and just in terms of financial literacy plays such a major role in the decisions that we make, in the things that we buy, in the places that we eat, and the relationships maybe sometimes that we have with people, on the opportunities that we're afforded. It just plays a major role. So today the overall objective is to get you to the place where you're making better financial decisions, but really helping you budget your lifestyle to the place where you can get more to the want-tos in your life instead of the have-tos in your life. So let's get into it. So the truth is that sometimes it's not an issue that I don't make enough money. Sometimes I believe that it's an issue that you don't, I guess, know how to manage your cash flow. I believe that one of my mentors always told me that, show me your bank statement, show me your bank account, show me your end of year reports, and I'll show you what's most important to you. Because at the end of the day, you may say that you want to invest in that business. At the end of the day, you may say that you want that property. At the end of the day, you may say that you want to go on that vacation. But at the beginning of the day or through the day, you spend all of your money on eating out at restaurants. You spend all of your money at H&M on clothing. You spend all of your money on going to the movies or going to clubs or buying bottles and all these different things. And I want you to think about it like this. If you spent, let's say if you spent $5 daily, so per day, in 1 year, this $5 will be, so 5 times 365, I think it's 1820. It's about $1,820. So $1,820. If you spend this is just $5 a day, people. Just $5 a day. So if we times this by 3, so times 3, and we focus on 1820, roll the 0, 0, 6, 24, 2, there's 3, 5. It's $5,000. $5,460. That's only if you spend $15 a day. $15 a day. $5,000 at the end of the year would have been accounted for, or would not have been accounted for. So many times we eat out, we shop, we spend, and we spend, and we're not mindful on what we're spending on, and two, the true effects of what our spending could do for us at the end of the year. Because if you really think about it, if you want to invest in a home, if you want to invest in property, if you want to invest in just in your business and all of these different things, but the reason why you don't invest in your business is because you don't have the capital, then you need to start looking at your finances. We haven't even gotten to the budgeting steps, the budgeting strategies, but you need to look in terms of your finances and how you're not managing your cash flow. Yes, you do maybe make enough money, but these are just steps. These are just strategies that you need to use to be able to just better budget your money or understand or manage your cash flow. You don't have a profit problem. You don't have a money problem. You don't have an opportunity problem. You have a strategy problem, and you have I look at it as a decision problem. One of the biggest things that we look at in life is credit. Now, this may be taking it a little bit overboard, but credit really is just showing if you have the responsibility, if you're financially responsible, or versus if you're a liar. If you're financially responsible, you'll only spend 30% of your credit. And I want to say this. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an investor. I'm not those different things. But I'm really just teaching you principles, not really trying to get you to activate these principles or in any way. So what I want to share with you is just strategies that have worked with me in my life and how I do believe that they could work with you in your experiences. The people that I've coached and mentored and guided through this process of learning, just being more aware of financial literacy, these different principles have worked for them as well. So responsibility could just look like, in terms of your credit cards or your line of credit, is using 30%. Now, if you're overusing your credit card, if you're not paying your bills on time, because our credit looks at 35% of our overall credit score is based upon payment history, and the other 30% is based upon credit utilization. So if you're overspending, if you're not paying on time, that is 65% accounting for your overall credit score. So now it just makes you look like a liar because you're not responsibly paying your bills on time, and you're not using the amount that has been given to you, or maybe you're going over the amount. So going back to the initial point, 5 steps that will help you become a better budgeter, just help you in your life. Or let's step 1. 70, 10, 10, 10. About to write 2 10s. So I believe that 70% at one point, and still today as well, 70% of your overall expenses, and when I say expenses, what I mean by expenses are just the money that you spend, just overall expenses, whether it's bill money, whether it's variable, and we'll talk about the difference between variable and fixed expenses a little bit in this lesson. But 70% of your overall spending habits, or 70% of your overall income, and what I mean about is income is the money essentially that you work for, that you get paid. On your paycheck, this is your income, the money that you're bringing in. Expenses is really just the money that's going out. So 70% of your income should go towards your living expenses. Whereas this gives you another 30%, right? To be able to equal that 100% of your income. So 10%, breaking it down, 10% goes to savings, a savings account. 10% goes to investment or investment capital. and then the last 10% goes to giving. This is a strategy that I've used for a while. It was introduced by David Shands to me, one of my mentors. And one of the biggest things why he said this is that 70% of your overall income needs to be going towards your living expenses. This is something that worked for him. It has been definitely working for me. And my financial advisor helped me leverage what I brought in to be able to save more, give more, and be able to invest more as well. 10% of the, let's say you get $1,000. Say you get $1,000. 700 of that $1,000 should go towards your living expenses. So that leaves us what? Another $300, right? $300. So 100 is going to go to a savings account. 100 is going to go to an investment capital account, and 100 is going to go to giving. Now, I don't care if you give to a church, a school, a person, a business, but this is really just getting in the mindset of giving, because I truly believe that you won't be able to receive more until you start giving 10 times more. So it's about giving. It's about getting in the mindset, getting in the frame of being able to do for others as has been done for yourself as well. Savings is really just going to a savings account. This is not to touch. You have to be able to build your savings. I don't believe in emergency accounts. I believe more so in just liquid accounts. And why I say liquid accounts, which means that you're able to cash out liquid. If something is liquid, you're able to pull it out and cash out on it. But why I say to not touch your savings account, and I don't believe in emergency funds, is because I don't want to save all this money and hope for an emergency. Who does that? I don't believe in that. I believe in not having a cap to your savings account. If it's 5,000, if it's 10,000, if it's 20,000, if it's 50,000, if it's 100 million, if it's $100 million, then that's okay. Get to the point of developing a habit of putting towards your saving and giving. Now, when we get to investment capital, I want to be able to erase this so we can really focus on investment capital and what I mean by that. Investment capital is a different account. Investment capital is the account that really fuels your dreams, really fuels your goals. Because if you are, let's look at a photographer. Let's say I'm a photographer and I want to get a new camera. So the goal is camera, and the camera costs $500. But your budget, but your monthly income, let's say just is $1,000, and your overall budget can handle $900 a month. So you have an additional $100 left. So kind of like, what do you do with the leftovers, right? But a part of this budget is the 10%. Remember the 10% for giving. So that 10%, let's say, is $100. Instead of you going over budget, or let's say, actually, let's use this as an example. You just got a check for $500 extra. What would you do? Would you save it? Would you stick to your initial plan, or would you just spend it all on this camera? I believe that a lot of people need to get into the habit of saving $100 over a period of time. And then in 5 months, you buy your camera off of the investment capital that you saved over that 5-month period. And if you do that, it gets you into the framework that you're still developing your savings account. You still have all of your living expenses paid for. You're still getting to the point where you're giving to people. And now you've leveraged the investment capital to now buy something that's going to create a revenue source or revenue stream for you. So I believe that is strategy one. Second is, because we have strategy one being 70, 10, 10, 10. Second is weekly monitoring. Every Sunday, I get together with myself and sometimes with my financial advisor, and we go through our finances. whether it's week 1, whether it's week 2, whether it's week 3, or it's the last week of the month, I believe that every single week you need to go through and see how you're tracking on your budget. If you've created a budget and it's week 3 and you have 90% of your entertainment budget used, but you have maybe an additional $100 or $300, then you don't need to be going and seeing any movies. If you spent up 90% or 100% of your going out to eat budget, then you don't need to be going out to eat just because you have a little bit more money. You have to learn the spirit of discipline. You have to learn how to control, how to have self-control and say yes to certain things and say no. Because every time you say yes to things that are not a part of your budget, you're saying no to your future dream. Every time you say yes to going over budget, you say no to going on that vacation. Every time you say yes to eating out just another time, you say no to having that real estate holding. You say no to all of the want tos, and then you continue to say yes to all of the have tos, right? So I believe that if you continue to live a rich life, you will remain broke. But if you continue to live a smart life, you will get to the point where you are financially free, and when you have capital and when you have developed wealth strategies and all these different things. So it's all about the decisions and the choices that we make and how we're going to align ourselves. So I talked about fixed and variable expenses earlier, and the third strategy is separate but equal. And when I learned this strategy from one of my mentors, it really put things into perspective for me. So when we look at fixed expenses, fixed are really just the things that don't change, in my opinion. Don't change expenses. This is like your bills, maybe your AT&T bill, like things that are gonna remain the same amount every single month. Variable, hence the name, varies. So that's it. Variables vary. Variable versus fixed. Variable could be gas, it may go up, go down. Variable could be entertainment, may go up and go down. But you still need to have these as a part of your overall budget as well. But the overall separate but equal, how I look at it is that I believe that you should have a bill account, an account for all of your bills, an account for all of your variable expenses, and then another account for your investments. I recommend getting 3 accounts. I have a little bit over 3 accounts, but I think that all people need just an account designated to their bills. They need an account to ensure that they have all of the money in their account at the end. If you have $5,000 in bills, ensure that there's that $5,000 every month in that bill account, because you don't want to be pulling from the variable or pulling from the bill account or pulling from the investment account to be able to fuel the other accounts. What I believe is separate but equal is so important, and this will give you the strategy to be able to saving more and being more disciplined and being more thoughtful and forward thinking of your goals and of your dreams within your financial landscape as well. The fourth point is realistic versus idealistic. So this is a little bit what I talked about a little bit earlier, and I'm going to talk about the fifth point as well. This is what I talked about a little bit earlier, because what I want you to remember is there's a difference between you having a little bit more and you tricking your mind to thinking that you don't have more so that you can save for more later. Just because you have an additional $50 in your budget, or just because you made an additional $50, doesn't mean that needs to be in terms of your expenses or your lifestyle. You have to align yourself with being disciplined. You have to allow yourself to be disciplined. And that's what this means. Realistic versus idealistic is really just continuing to be realistic with your budget, and not, oh, I have an idea of getting something, but really staying realistic and disciplined within your budget. And the fifth thing, automation is key. And what I mean about automation is huge right now, especially in the digital world. Automation is king, and I recommend all bills, really all bills especially, be automated. Maybe even have automated entertainment or anything of that nature. But I believe that automation is king because it allows you to stick to a budget that you don't even ever see that money essentially, and everything is automated, so it really shows real time what is in your account. Then you don't have to continue to check it. Nothing has to go late, or you don't have any late payments, late fees, all those different things. I think automation is king, and automation, in my opinion, is key. And I feel that a strategy that I like to use, the last strategy that I like to use, so really 6 steps, is understand income, create a plan based upon past performance. So I recommend people go back 3 months, assess their expenses, assess their income, and then based upon what they see, all right, how much money did I spend in eating out? How much money did I spend in entertainment? Where is my, am I at a negative? Am I at a positive? Where am I spending? What am I doing? So now you can create a plan moving forward for the next 3 months that you stick to in terms of the budget. Once you understand and analyze, let's put analyze this 3-month performance, what I want you to do is cut it by 30%. If you spent $100 at the mall, cut it by 30% and only spend $70 for the next 3 months. I want you to cut all of your expenses by 30%, if you can, cut it by 30%, and all of that 30% will now go into savings and investments accounts moving forward. Now, these are just tips. I'm not a financial advisor or a registered licensed advisor, and I wanted to share that with you, but these are just strategies. These are tips that I want to be able to share with you in my personal experience that have worked for me. These are 6 strategies of better budgeting, and really just strategies of helping you live a more financially and economically, just a better life economically and financially. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next course. And if you have any more questions, definitely shoot them to me. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next class.